HG lifestyle. It's a mindset. Make sure you adopt it, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the HG Lifestyle Show. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Maddie Leverage.
How's everybody doing?
Hope you guys are all doing good. And guys, first of all, before we get started, I do want to say thanks. I do notice the engagement we got on the last episode. I got a couple messages from you guys. So just so you guys know, it is appreciated. We're trying to spread the message as far as we possibly can. So guys, if you enjoyed what you heard, or if you feel like you got something out of it, do us a favor, share it, take some screenshots, tag us on it. We'll share it back, and let's try to grow the HG lifestyle movement. But today, me and Matt wanted to talk about something that we feel has greatly affected us in the past. We want to be able to share our experience with it, but also tell you guys how important it is to move away from those situations. And why don't you tell them what we're about to talk about, Maddie Leverage?
Yeah, absolutely. So relationships, when I look back on the history of goods and bads, of choices I've made in my past, I think instantly I look at the people that were around me during those time periods. I mean, we have a saying here with the family element of our 5 F's, the 5 fundamentals, that, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So to relate that to, different time periods in my life, I can, without a doubt say the people that were around me that were involved in my life, either personally or on a business level, directly affected my choices, whether good or bad. And that's been something that I look back on now that I'm older in life, and I think, man, if I would have made these choices earlier on, maybe I would have been able to get further along in life at a better and made some better decisions. So, yeah, I mean, toxic relationships, when I look back on history, can be everything from business decisions to personal relationships, and a lot of where I'm at today is because of those relationships, good or bad. So, kind of not to go too much into it, let you speak on that, John.
Yeah, I mean, basically, me and Matt have talked about this in the past, and guys, listen, all the bad shit that's happened in my life, all the worst moments that I've gone through in my life, there was always usually some sort of toxic relationship in the middle. Not just friendships or business, but also romantic relationships. I've been in some pretty toxic relationships, and sometimes we can become codependent on those relationships, and I get it, right? Nobody likes to be alone, so we almost get trapped into those relationships because we don't like to have those uncomfortable conversations, right? And most people don't even understand those conversations anyway, because I think back on those toxic relationships, if I would have ever sat down and said, hey, babe, you're pretty fucking toxic right now, she probably would have slapped the shit out of me. So it makes it difficult to have those conversations. So we just kind of put up with it and we deal with it. But deep down, we're not happy. We're depressed all the time. We're always angry. And it's one of those things where you got to get out of it. You have to find a way to find the strength to just move on, because at the end of the day, those toxic relationships, as well as I know, they do you no good. I want you to think about all the shitty things that you've been through in your life, and there's usually some toxic relationship involved, and Matt's been through it as well, so we decided to do an episode about it because a lot of people are in that situation right now and they don't know how to get out of it. So Matt, what do you think? Because I know it's not easy, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot here because this isn't an easy question to answer, but what do you think the best way to get away from a toxic relationship is?
Well, first of all, identifying that it is a toxic relationship, right?
Go, yeah.
I think
Amen.
A big part of understanding that I can definitely relate to bad relationships I've had in dating wise, because, when it came to, going back to the person over and over and over again, I kept telling myself, even talking to myself,
right?
Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's because you know it, but it's like, hard. Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of that during the time I was using, I was distorted a little bit in my mind. I didn't have the right influences around me. My objectives were different. My goals were different. I was a lot younger. Right. So immaturity played a part. But getting away is probably the hardest thing, especially when in a relationship. I could tell you there's a difference between love and lust.
And lust, yeah.
Yeah. And I think people get that confused quite often.
It's easy to confuse, yeah, for sure.
When it comes to relationship with guys, you end up like getting into a fight and never talking to the guy again and saying see you later. You know what I mean? With
'cause
girls,
there's no lust there.
yeah, exactly. With guys, it's a whole different story. So when it comes to like personal relationships, I could say I'd say get back to your roots as far as with your family, and then make those decisions in a good place and decide. I like to look back on times in my life when I was really struggling, when I had nobody around, and I figured that if people are around me during those times at your low moments, they'll definitely be with you at those high moments.
Absolutely.
You know, it's easy to be around someone when they're on top. They got the car maybe at the time.
They're covering all the bills, taking everybody out.
It's convenient. If you're going out with the homies or whatever, and you guys are having drinks, like. Whatever, it's easy to get along with that guy, but it's the times that maybe on the reverse side, maybe I was needed to bail, I got in trouble or whatever it was, or I was using it and I didn't know where to turn to have that conversation. And I think it's the people that were actually putting their foot down and saying, Matt, you need to stop this and come this way. And it always resonates with family for me. You know what I mean? Those are the people that I always feel like I always had a place to sleep. I always could go back to do that. And I think, when I look back on history, it's recognizing that person. And I have a saying that's like, elevate through separation. So you elevate to a higher level when you're able to separate from the crowd, kind of similar to, how an eagle, they run alone. You know what I mean? They don't need a pack of, because they know what they can do. And nowadays, I find myself with a lot more clarity, a lot more focus when I don't have all those distractions, because I've brought myself back to understanding who I am. And when you don't understand who you are, I think a lot of that's immaturity. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to be with the cool crowd, trying to move and groove, and your principles are on the wrong things, right?
Yeah.
So now that I feel like I've aligned my principles with who I am, it's a lot easier just to be comfortable in my own skin.
Right.
And I've gotten rid of bad relationships, realizing that's exactly what I was doing. I was invested in lust, and I got that confused with love. And with the guys that were around me, I mean, they were just bloodsuckers. I mean, it's easy to pop bottles when the bill comes, though. Who's reaching in their pockets? You know what I mean? To help pay that bill with you, right?
Right.
So good times are great and everything. Memories are awesome, but I'd like to spend those good times with people that I think are going to be with me, good and bad times. So nowadays it's a lot different. Maybe it feels like I'm in a lot better place, but it's a lot lonelier at the top, they say. But it's a lot more fruitful, I think, and a lot more. I feel like I have a lot more impact when I'm around the right people.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely right, guys. But if you notice what he said, the first step is to first of all recognize that you're in a toxic relationship, and sometimes that's difficult to do. But the reason why, and guys, I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, and that's the simple fact that you gotta have confidence, you got to love yourself, because I believe that in those moments where I was in those toxic relationships, what made it difficult for me to walk away from them is that maybe I just didn't feel worthy with myself. I don't know. But like Matt says, that was a time in my life where I was also using, right? So maybe I didn't feel good about myself. I felt like I had what I deserved, right? Like maybe it just didn't get any better for me. Maybe that is what I was meant to have. But guys, that's never the case, right? So you got to look at your relationships. Look at who's around you. What do they bring to the table? How can they benefit you? And that's not to say, hey, take advantage of the people around you. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what can these people do for you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just simply saying, how do they benefit you in a spiritual way? Are you happy around them? Do they make you feel good? Or do they come around and just start talking about, oh, my boss did this and my life is this? And because if you notice, I want you to go back to those moments where maybe you had a good day. You had a great day. You got a big deal, made a shit ton of money, but then your homegirl comes around and starts talking about her husband cheated on her or all this negative shit. All of a sudden, your good mood just went down, right? Because they do affect you. There is a such thing as energy, guys. Positive energy, negative energy, toxic energy, right? And you got to recognize those toxic relationships and just find a way to get out. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, because it's definitely not, because we've all been there. But it can affect you in very, very negative ways. Both me and Matt have been through it. I don't know how comfortable Matt will be sharing what he's been through. But guys, you guys know me. I'm a pretty open book. I don't give a shit, man. I'll tell you guys how it is. I'll tell you guys what I've been through. But I mean, I've been through some pretty shitty relationships where these people try to literally ruin my life, right? I mean, I'm talking about get me locked up, lie, make things up about how evil I was, and all these crazy things, guys. I mean, even taking it far to a point to where, I mean, they were willing to get my whole family deported. As you guys know, I came to this country legally, but we stayed longer than what we were supposed to. Now, everything's good now, but the point is, back then, as an illegal immigrant, and I got my girlfriend threatening to divorce my family. I mean, that's toxic as fuck. That's extremely toxic, but I was just so blind to it because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be lonely. I didn't want to lose somebody who I thought I loved. But guys, I haven't spoken to this woman in a long time, very long time, and my life is so much better. But if you would have asked me back then, I would have thought my life was fucking over. Like I just couldn't go on. And that's just not the case. It took a while, but eventually I found a good woman, had a kid with her. I mean, this woman was a good woman to me, but I wasn't matured yet, so I ended up losing her. But through all those experiences, I learned maybe I'm the toxic one sometimes, right? So you got to be able to recognize that too. Are you the toxic person? And how do you get out of that? How do you become a better person? For me personally, it was all those big losses I'd taken in life. I lost a lot of good things in my life because I just wasn't able to recognize that I was the toxic one in some instances. But today I'm happy, guys. My kids are happy. I'm healthy. I got good relationships. Like Matt said, I don't have a shit ton of homies like I did at one point, right? Where I was one of the most popular persons no matter where I walked in. But why? Because I was the guy who always had cash. I always had fucking weed on me. I was always paying for the bill. That's why. But when I lost all that, dude, I remember sitting in jail, bro. Nobody came to talk to me. Nobody came to visit me. Nobody put money in my books. Not that I felt that I deserved it, but as much as they said, oh, we got your back, oh, fucking ride till I die, bullshit, man. Nobody was there for me. And when I got out of jail, I didn't even hit those guys up. And guess what? They didn't hit me up either. I thought we were supposed to be boys, right. Homies. But you know what? Fuck it. Going to jail was a good way for me to get rid of those relationships because they just kind of fell off. But some of you won't be that lucky, or some of you don't want to go through that. I don't recommend you go through that, but you do got to find a way to get away from those shitty relationships for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to further what John's saying, too, I was talking to him earlier at the gym, and I was like, man, I used to think it was cool, and this is where the mindset shifts, is I used to think it was cool, this is going to sound crazy, to go to jail. And guess why? Because I thought, oh, going to jail, you look hard, dude. You got a mugshot? Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I spent a night in jail.
Yeah, that bad boy image.
Yeah, it was that bad boy image. I think it was that youngster, in me, and I was still trying to live out my 20s hard, and I was like, man, and at the time, but a big part of that was because of my surroundings, right?
Yeah, your surroundings.
Like, people around me, that's what they thought. That's because they were all street. I'm coming. So give you guys a little background on me. I went through the 2008 crash, okay, like big time crash. We all know about that crash, but I actually crashed with it. I was in those ninja loans, and we were, give you a little background, no income, no doc loans for homes was a big popular thing back then. So I was highly leveraged into real estate, and a lot of my personal worth, at least in my mind, was the car I drove, the house I lived in, and what money I had in the bank, and making sure I paid for. Anyone that sat with me at that time wasn't paying for the bill.
Right.
That was the thing for me right back then. And then when it crashed and it all came tumbling down in 2008, I'm sure a lot of people were affected by this. I crashed with it, and all of a sudden I was in this personality, who am I? I didn't know, right? I was trying to figure it out, but I knew that the money wasn't going to be, and I was so absorbed in what the money brought that I didn't really have a personality. The money did all the talking for me.
Right.
And so 08 hits, and I'm in this okay, so now I went from being a really, I guess, more book smart, savvy guy because I was doing real estate, doing everything by the book, super on point, to now all of a sudden, hey, you're going through bankruptcy, you can't even show your money.
Right.
You got to be on a cash basis. So what that did was it put me into these crowds of cash people, and I would not say that everybody that's in the cash business out there is doing not everything on the up and up, but in reality, these people that I at least was hanging out with were not the right ones. Okay.
No.
And, it was nightly partying. It was drug use. It was just gang-related things a lot of time. I'm not even in the gang. I don't even know why I'm hanging out, but I wanted to have people around me that could say
you feel
we're
good.
hard.
You feel hard, right? You feel untouchable. But again, that's that young mentality.
Right. So I took that time and I was like, man, what am I? But at that time, I thought I was cool. And then on top of that, I got a girl that was also kind of in that same kind of environment as well. That's all she knew. So I just fed into that. And so now when I look back, I'm like, man, what were you thinking? Like, literally, what were you thinking?
You even look at yourself and think, what a dumbass.
Like I look
but
now,
you didn't see
oh
that.
God,
yeah.
Like, what was I doing? You know what I mean?
All the signs were clear. If you look at the signs now, they were all fucking clear. But at the moment, you're blind to them.
Right. So you look back and you're like, man, like why did I let someone have so much power over me?
Yeah.
Between the relationship and the lust and the guys trying to be hard and going to jail and doing this whole street thing I was on, I don't know what I was thinking. And that's why I say the only thing is the mindset shifted, because once all that money ran out, I was back on mom's couch, dude.
Yeah.
I was sleeping at home. I remember taking a job. It was a $9 an hour job as a 30-year-old man, taking a $9 an hour job when a couple years earlier I was driving a Bentley paid off. That's a whole different shift. And what did I realize then? I realized, dude, like, you're nobody.
Yeah.
You are nobody, okay? You need to stop thinking you're somebody. I had to take that chip off my shoulder and humble myself at that time and realize, dude, like, who's really here for you? And that's when I had that big awakening with, hey, family's there for you. They don't care if you got a car. They don't care where any of that shit doesn't mean anything. Because I was so absorbed in the money was who I had to be.
Right.
You know? So that time period always resonates, especially even now. Like, we're doing a lot better now, and that mindset completely shifted. But my goals are aligned in who I am as a person, I think, because you can say you want to accomplish these things in your life, but if you don't actually believe them for yourself and they don't align with who you are with your principles, then I think people a lot of times just say these certain goals, but don't actually believe in them themselves.
We talked about it last episode. For
sure. So now just that whole mindset shift I can speak to has changed my life. And I think when we first started working together again, we're on that maturity side.
And I think that's kind of what attracted us back together, because see, I known Matt since those days where we were both on that mentality. I'm the motherfucking man. No, I'm the motherfucking man. Well, the man is the one with the deeper pocket. So, all right, well, I just got in a fight. I fucked this dude up, so I'm cool. Oh, I got this mugshot. But, dude, again, when I sat in fucking jail,
there's nothing cool about jail.
Hell no. Okay.
Cool about
Maybe
it.
when you're in and now, you book yourself out. But see, I had gone back and forth so many times, always bailed out, that it was just like no big
that
deal.
Became like a thing. Like,
But that night, guys, I'll never forget. Right, I'm still acting hard. I'm even treating the fucking cop like shit because he's treating me like shit. Right, so I'm acting all hard, and I'm thinking, okay, where's my girl? Why hasn't she bailed me out yet? And then I get a call. Okay. The officer comes and tells me, Mr. Briseño, you have a call. I'm like, who the fuck? I'm in booking. Like, nobody ever calls you in booking. You do the calling. I pick up the phone, and I'll never forget. He said, John, my name is Officer John Henderson with Immigration. I just want to inform you that we have placed you on an ICE hold, and at the moment, you will not be able to be released. Boom, my heart dropped. Like, it sank. Like, what? Right? Because I was used to all this bullshit. But, guys, it was a rough time for me to go through, but it opened up my eyes to who truly had my back, who didn't. I mean, dude, a lot of people stole from me. There was people who owed me money from the business that I was in back then, that cash business, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I need that cash now because I'm going to have to lawyer up, get some shit going, so I had people out there trying to collect, and everybody fucked me, dude. Mm-hmm. Everybody stole from me. Yep. People who had my back, people who were supposed to be my number ones, they fucking stole from me, and they left me in there to fucking rot. Right? Now, that whole time I was in there, I was still in that mindset, though, so I'm thinking, ooh, when I get out, but luckily, I experienced something that was just horrible that I went through. I talked about it in other episodes, guys, but it was the first time I experienced what I know now to be a panic attack, severe panic attack, where I thought I was dying. And I pleaded with God, because in those situations, you get desperate. You don't know what to do. And I'm begging God to please get me out of the situation. I'll never do it again. obviously it was a shitty moment for me, guys, but what it made me realize was that, look, I don't have anybody, man, other than my family. The true people who have always been there for me, which unfortunately were the people that I treated the worst. The people that were there for me are the people that I treated the worst. The people that were there for me in my shittiest moments, I was a dick to them, right? And sometimes that's just how we are, right? Because we want to be cool. We want to feel like we are more than we really are. So today, those are my strongest relationships, though, right? But going back to what attracted me and Matt again is back in those days, we knew each other. We kind of didn't speak for a few years. What Matt was going through his struggles, I was going through mine. But when we met each other again, we were both at a different mindset, right? Because we had both been through similar things and we were both on that winning mentality, but we had a purpose for winning this time. And that's where the big F5, the 5 fundamental comes into play, right? Because now we have a purpose for winning, to where back then winning was just because I'm the shit, because I'm cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's not winning, guys. Winning is when you have a purpose and you fulfill that purpose and you're surrounded by good people. Today, the relationships that I have, it may not be as many people, but these are people that I can say that if I'm ever in a really bad situation, I feel comfortable knowing that they do what they can to help me. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some saying out there that says, like, you know, look to people that look more like your future than look like your past, you know. So when I think of my future, I think I'm trying every day to get around those kind of people. That's why we spend so much time with mentorship and these masterminds that people are on right now, because I look up to those people and I learn from those people and I apply that knowledge now. And, you know, did I have the capability to do that when I was younger? I did. But guess what? Because of those toxic relationships, I went a different way. And because you don't realize that how much they affect you and the way you think and decision making you make. I mean, I remember getting in fights with like ex-boyfriends just because they used to date her. And Like, why?
But for what? Exactly.
Like,
for
what
why?
are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and just, you know, going in, not even just the jail. It's like, when you go to jail, like I said, there is nothing cool about jail. And then you realize that 90% of people that are in jail are on drugs. Okay, and they're all coming down from something.
Right.
So you got to think, if the drugs are affecting people in that capacity, how much of a hold they really have on you. They throw this fog on you that you don't even know you have, and you don't even recognize yourself. But everyone else kind of sees it. But the people that are really there for you are going to be the ones that were probably that you didn't like at the time, which was probably your family, and as you push them away.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. The people that were there for me the most are the ones that I treated the worst. Why? Because they were telling me my truth.
You didn't want to hear it,
and I didn't want to fucking hear the truth.
Exactly.
I wanted to hear how dope I was.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Which is what other people fed me.
Yeah. So you turn on the music, you know, and then all of a sudden you drowned everybody else out, and you listen to those lyrics. And that's influence, guys. I mean, the songs we're listening to, the music we watch, the movies we watch, I mean, scrolling up and down, and people living this life of a lie and really trying to portray something they're not. And I think people need to recognize that everything on social media isn't real, guys. People want to be like these movie stars and feel like they're in this Hollywood, like everything's good, but you don't realize they probably have the most messed up, you know, life going on with, and they wish they had some real people around them, but everyone around them is just sucking them dry for whatever their resources are.
Right.
And, you know, now that I've gotten older, I realize that the power of just, you know, eliminating all that, to me, was baggage. It was heavy bricks that I was carrying for other people, you know, buying into this life of that I wasn't really a part of. It was like this, you know, gangster mentality and this, you know, drug infested, like just bad people that I was around. And because they affected me to the point, they brainwash you. Right. They brainwash you into thinking about their mentalities. Like that's and that's the problem. So, you know, a big part of that, like I say, it goes back to drug use. Anyone out there that has whether it doesn't have to be, you know, sticking a needle in your arm. It could be a lot of different things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of drugs out there. Pharmaceuticals was my drug of choice. And I thought because it came in a bottle, because it came from the doctor, I was cool. So at the time I was like, all right, you know, I'll get my prescription, have a little fun, because at the time that was kind of the popular thing. Opioids was my drug of choice. I liked the way it made me feel. Also, I didn't have to drink like a freaking 12-pack to get drunk. And I was like, oh, I got to, I don't want to have to drink all night. So that was the whole, facade of it. And then before you know it, I went from getting my prescription, taking a couple, I was taking a couple, selling the rest of them, doing my little, I always had business, and all of a sudden, before I knew it, I'm buying more from a prescription. I ran through my prescription, and then I'm buying more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy it got at one point. Like, I remember, like, taking money out the register. Like, we had a store at the time, and just cleaning out the register because it didn't matter. I had to get to that drug. And just my priorities were all messed up. And, like I said, between the drug use and the toxic relationships, everything spun out of control till I had no more money. And then guess what? I had to go back to mom's couch, 30-year-old man, walking down the side of the street, taking some $8 an hour job. And the job literally was picking up trash. You wouldn't believe that, bro. Like, literally, that's how bad it got, man. Because I was like, I don't have a degree. I can't go back. Being an entrepreneur, that's the crazy part about being an entrepreneur. You rely on yourself to make moves. No one's giving you a paycheck at the end of the week. Okay, let's be honest here. If you're not out there making moves and shaking the right hands, you said something the other day, you said, more hands you shake, the more money you make. That's a good fucking saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's true. But you need to shake hands with the right people. That's key there. People that you look up to, that you can learn something from, and ideally, they're going to level you up. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
And I think that's the major change that I had to make, was realizing I was shaking hands with the wrong people. Yeah. Rather than the pop of the crowd and, everyone's opening bottles, it's like, hey, get involved in some entrepreneurship mindset, masterminds.
Yeah, shake those hands.
Shake those hands. You know what I mean? Those hands I'm paying $10,000 for. We just spent $30,000 last week. You don't even on another one. I mean, and that money, you don't even feel bad about sending them that money because you know what it's gonna, that's gonna play out in your favor. And I think that's the biggest differentiator now, is just understanding that, the people you surround yourself with is so important. It's such an old school saying. You know what I mean? We were saying on our first episode.
Yeah, man.
Don't hang out with that crowd. They're gonna get you in trouble. But it's so true. You know what I mean? It really is. They're gonna bring you down to hell with them. Misery loves company. You know what I mean? So stick with those old school principles. That's what we can gain from the wisdom we can gain from our grandparents' generation and our parents' generation. That's something that I don't think we take serious enough. I'm not really into that whole virtual reality, gaming thing. It's never been me. So, but there's people that almost live in this world. They can't even communicate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Know how to talk to somebody.
Can't get a date. They're doing swipe left, swipe right all day. It's like, come on, man, like, talk to the girl. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, dude, I didn't have that in my younger days. So guess what? I had to go out there, feel stupid as fuck, but somehow find a way to spark up a conversation. But you know what? Today, I'm grateful that that's how I had to pick up my chicks back in the days, because today, I believe that's what gives me the confidence when I'm on the phone, right? Today, you just have to swipe left, swipe right. If she hits you with the thumb up, then you start communicating. That's easy shit, right? To where before it was, all right, bro, you see the one over there? I'm going to go try to talk to her, man. You feel dumb, you feel stupid because you don't want to hit him with the, what's up, girl? How you doing? My name is John B. But you know what, dude? I worked up the courage to do it, and that's how I realized, man, you know what, dude? I got some game, right? But back then, that was my game. How many chicks could I get to fall for me? Because, again, going back to that same stupid mentality of when you were younger, I'm the shit. Right? But today it's like, hey, I have a very good skill of being able to speak my words and have you feel them when I speak them. Well, what can I use that skill for? And I realized that I use that skill to change my life, literally change my life. It's changed my life in a way where today, guys, I go through stress, absolutely, because, me and Matt, as of today, we're super heavily invested into the businesses that we want to be into. And it gets stressful when the money's going out. But at the end of the day, I always know that if it comes down to a worst case scenario, I can always hop on the phone and sell something and put money back in my pocket. So recognizing that allows me to not stress out so much. But again, it's also because of the new relationships that I've built. I built some extremely valuable relationships that I know that in a tough spot, I mean, these guys would let me sell some deals for them. Why wouldn't they? I'm a badass. I'll make the money, right? But again, it's about those relationships. To where back in the days, the only relationships I had were people that were trying to take from me. They were always taking from me, right? I was always the one Whatever. Point is you got to move on from those relationships. Recognize them if you're in them and find a way to get out of them. And you may be lonely for a little bit, but guess what? The whole purpose of me and Matt doing what we're doing is to try to help and inspire as many people as possible. So if you're in one of those toxic relationships right now and you feel like you're going to be alone or whatever, man, if you're really in a position where you really truly want to level up, hit me up, man. I'll be your homie. I'll help you in any fucking way that I can. And I mean that shit, right? But do it. Don't just sit there and just think about it, or it's not the right time, or let me get pussy one last time. Get the fuck away from that, okay? Because that's another thing, man. You keep going back. You say it's over. She hits you up. She's looking fly. You go back. You hit it. Now you're back in it again. You're arguing. You're fighting. She's throwing shit at you. You lose your mind. You end up shoving her. Now she's calling the cops saying you beat the fuck out of her. Like, dude, it's horrible. Horrible. Super toxic, super stressful. That's the devil's work, man. The fuck away from the devil's work. Because, God, man, just even thinking about it, as you could tell, like, riles me up, bro. Because it's like, dude, anyway, yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, and to speak to that, I mean, I think, John, like I said, we come from that Tupac, Biggie era, and to give a little shout out to Pac on this one, because, and I'm an East Coast guy, so you know Biggie at heart, you know what I mean?
Right.
But Pac says, he says, I might not change the world, but I want to inspire people to spark the brain, or something along those
Right.
lines. And that's what me and John are here to do, guys. Is we're not better than anyone, and we want to just get our experiences out there, and hopefully can spark the brain to let you guys think a little differently with your mindset. Because once your mindset aligns, and that's what me and John have done, we've aligned our business savviness and our experiences for the better. We could be talking about a total different product, total different service right now, and still be aligned. But the point is, we align because we believe in what we're preaching at the end of the day with the 5 Fs.
Right.
That's our goal, is to make sure we bring those 5 Fs to the masses at the end of the day. So if you believe in those 5 Fs, stick around with us. We got a lot more experiences to talk to you guys about. We have people we're going to bring on the show that we get influenced by daily, that we feel like are going to bring a ton of value. And the earlier you can catch on to these principles earlier on, the more it's going to have a better impact and to get you to your goals faster, as long as you execute on those goals.
Absolutely.
Right? So we truly believe in these goals, and we're teaching our kids these goals, and we align ourselves with these. We try to, like I said, get the gym out the way in the morning. It's a daily belief system. Getting out of bed even a lot of times. I'm like, man, I'm tired. But you're like, dude, you can be tired.
Right.
Would you rather be tired broke or tired making moves? And these days,
Exactly.
we're just trying to make moves, man. We're trying to move in that upward direction on a daily and surround ourselves with those type of people. So, like I said, if you can separate yourself initially, recognize the mistakes of what people you're hanging out with, and then align yourself with like-minded individuals
Right.
like John. I mean, and he means it when he says reach out to him. He's not joking around. Reach out to us. We would love to help, and mentor any way we can. But the reality is, you got to want it for yourself. Okay, you can't just talk about it. I hear too many people at the gym. I'm gonna wait till New Year's. Like, why? What are you waiting for New Year's for? You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether it's a gym or if it's business related. If you're stuck in that job, you're a 9-to-5 guy. There's nothing against being a 9-to-5 guy. Nothing bad about corporate America. I've aligned myself with corporate guys, and I hate to say it, those are the guys that are looking for that salary. Okay? If you need a salary, if you need a paycheck, that's because you really don't believe in your skill sets. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
Because a guy that knows what he's doing, or a woman that knows what she's doing, she knows she's going to bring home that check. He knows he's going to bring home that check regardless.
Absolutely.
And that's a belief system that you have to have. So if you're always looking for that quick, easy, paycheck at the end of the day, you're going to stay stuck. And then you're going to wonder why you're just getting by. So if you're tired of just getting by, the 5 Fs is going to revolutionize your life. It's going to change your life for the better, to make sure you're always improving on those 5 aspects of your life. But at the end of the day, those principles have to align with you. We're not just preaching it. That's what we truly believe. Now, not everyone's going to believe in our belief system. We don't expect them to, but we do, want to be surrounded by people that want to believe in those systems. So, we can go off on finances, freedom, and all these different things. But if you're not trying to better yourself, then you're just another bullshitter walking around. You have to believe it for yourself first. And that's what me and John have done. We believe it for ourselves. Every day we're working on trying to get a little bit better at this. And, stick around. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more, tips, tricks, and hacks that you guys are going to be, that you can get further along in life. So the HAA program is one of those things that we're going to be speaking on soon, because we really believe in the real estate. There's been more millionaires created in real estate than any other vertical out there. So we're going to show you, creative financing solutions, areas that your banker's not telling you about, your mom and dad aren't telling you about these things, because they teach you how to be a worker. They teach you how to be an employee.
Right.
So if you're tired of being an employee, you're talking to guys like me and John B that went and got it, regardless of, papers, or regardless of me being hooked on drugs or any of that shit. We figured out a way to get past things. We all have problems.
Yeah, we do.
And so it's about overcoming those problems. Get knocked out, hit in the face. Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face. Well, life's gonna hit you in the fucking face.
And it hits
straight
hard.
up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can either stay down on the mat or you can get up. And that's your choice at the end of the day. You have to make that decision. So, just to speak to that, we have a ton of great information that's going to be getting shared with you guys. We're trying to just come out on our podcast at least and be as real and authentic as we can. And we have a lot of structured videos that are going to be coming out in the future that are just dropping just straight game on you about credit, about crypto, which is a leading asset class, and about just cash flow, producing things that are being passive, so you can make money. Even if you're in your 9-to-5 right now and you're sitting there in your chair and you're listening to this and you're like, man, how do I get out of this job? Well, we got the sauce for you. We got a lot of sauce.
Yeah, we do.
It's about to start dropping on you. So be ready for it. So just know that it's all around creating generational wealth. We're trying to not create just money for you to get to the club on Friday night. We're trying to create money for your family so you can affect your kids' kids. Okay, so be ready for that information, because when it comes, you know what I mean, you got to be ready to listen and hear it and apply those principles, because this isn't just like hey, let's get hyped on Mondays and then back to work and then Monday through Friday. No, it's like, hey, you got to make a change. You got to make sure your side hustle will eventually, overtake your primary hustle right now, so you don't got to go into work on Monday, because you can make that decision that, hey, boss, you know what, you don't pay me enough. I want my freedom is more important.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it comes down to courage, man. And that's why I'm going to keep saying it, courage. It comes down to courage. It comes down to confidence, right? Because at the end of the day, if you really, truly don't believe, it doesn't matter if we give you the sauce. If you don't believe and you don't take the action, the sauce ain't shit, right? The sauce is what me and him have done to put ourselves in a better position. So we know that the sauce works, right? But there's always those people who want the sauce, but they're not going to use it for anything, or they're not confident enough. So, guys, start with small things. Just start with something, for fuck's sakes. Quit telling yourself tomorrow. Quit telling yourself New Year's, like Matt says. Do you guys know that there are fitness companies out there who their whole marketing strategy is to advertise the fuck out of their supplements and gym memberships in January? Why? Because they know you dumbasses are gonna fucking buy it because you got this fucking New Year's resolution that this is the fucking year, but they expect for you to fall off between February and March. They expect that shit.
They know you're gonna fall.
That is their marketing strategy, guys.
They're getting billed and billed because you're gonna take those vitamins next week or something.
Exactly, right? But they already know that, so they create these fucking campaigns around the magic pill. Yep. All you gotta do is take this shit and be lazy, and you're gonna lose weight. And they make millions off that shit. Millions. And the reason I'm telling you guys this, guys, is because I know people in the nutraceutical space, and that is their whole fucking marketing plan. They can't wait for December to come around because they start creating the fucking supplement, and then come last week of December, they're marketing the shit out of all these motherfuckers. They're marketing it like crazy. And they know it's a quick 3-month window. Why? Because most people fall off. They fall off. Start today. What's wrong with today? Nothing wrong with today. In fact, today is the day. And what, to touch on what Matt was talking about, the Homo Sisters Accelerator Plan, guys, look, we're not here to teach you something that we don't know. Everything that we talk about, everything that we want to educate you on is because it's something that we've gained knowledge on, we've done it, and we've done it well. Otherwise, we're not going to sit here and try to pretend like we're the experts, okay? Because we're not going to be the experts in everything. That's what relationships are for. That's what conferences are for. That's what gaining more information is for. But as of now, anything real estate, crypto, sales, e-commerce, we've done that shit, made a lot of money in it, which is why we feel confident sharing that with you. So, and that's what the Home Assistance Accelerator is all about, man, is teaching you creative financing solutions. Maybe you always wanted to get into real estate, but you didn't know how. Well, we got a simple course that'll help you get there. So if you want information on that, hit me up, man. I'm willing to give it to you for free, right? But you got to show me that you fucking want it, right? Because at the end of the day, we're here to change lives, so.
Yeah, we're actually going to be taking 10 people, 10 selected people, not just everybody, but people that we consider, go-getters and people that really have the ambition to get there, on for free because of this call, because we got so motivated today in this call. HAA is one of those things that we completely believe in. But, to speak on just that New Year's, there's no magic pill, guys. You're not going to call us. We're going to, deposit $1 million in your account. You have to show us that you're serious about not only taking this information in, but applying the knowledge, okay? And the knowledge gets applied on a daily through, fitness is how I like to start my day because I like to get that thing out the way. I don't like to let it drag and I'm going to get to the gym later. And I find when I've done that, it doesn't happen. It's the same thing in business and family time. You got to look at your calendar. You have to audit do some time management and say, what do I really value? Where do I want to be in 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And some people need to write it down. Some need to put a to-do list. Everyone has their own way of doing that. I'm a very visual guy.
Right.
I need to see it in front of me. I like to talk to people, in face-to-face. I'm not into that Zoom thing and all that, even though that's the new way of doing things. I like to go and actually touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever that may be. And that's what this business is about. We've lived through these different times. Like I said, I experienced the '08 crash in real estate, and that's always in the back of my head. You know what I mean? Like, hey, is that going to happen again? So we're looking out for your futures, guys, and knowing that what's really going in the markets, how they've printed more than 40% more money in circulation in this last year. Money's is trash. Cash is trash, guys. You need to get your cash in the system. You need to be buying cash flow producing assets, okay? You need to be looking around and saying, hey, what am I doing wrong right now? Saving your way is never going to get you to the freedom class, okay? It's just not going to happen. You'll be 30 years further along and you'll realize, wait a second, why am I 70 years old and I'm retiring at 60, 70? That doesn't make any sense, guys. You want to be able to create a plan, execute on that plan, and enjoy your life, okay? Enjoy the freedom that comes with that, being able to travel the way you want to do things, spending time with your family, and making this time count. Your time, again, I say this all the time, but time is your most valuable resource. You can buy anything in this life, but you cannot get time back. We can't get back those years. No. Me and John struggled with toxic relationships, whether it was girls or guys. Okay, it doesn't matter. They were toxic. They were the wrong people to be around us. John was sitting in jail for quite a long time, nine plus months, thinking, am I ever going to see my family again? Am I even going to be in this country again? Okay, that's a tough way to live right there. Okay, and when you're in that situation, it's with anyone that's ever been to jail, all you want to do is get the hell out of jail. Okay, it's a very negative environment, and I can just speak to that environment. I can tell you, me and John, like I said, have had these experiences that we want to share with you guys, letting you know that we've been rock bottom, and it's not even about where we're at today. It's more like our mentality has shifted. That's what's really changed, guys. We're absorbing information like sponges, but we're taking that information and we're applying it. So we're going after these mastermind groups aggressively. We're getting high-level consultants to come into our company and making sure that we're super efficient. We're applying delegation. In other words, we are surrounding ourselves with the best in every class, the best CPAs, the best attorneys, okay? We're applying processes and systems. We have a CRM system. John's super old school like me. We're Wolf of Wall Street kind of guys.
Yes, sir.
We'll keep calling you until you tell me to hit the bricks, buddy. You know what I mean? But even then, it might give me something else to call you back about. But the point is, we're working smarter, not harder these days, guys. And we're going to give you all those skills, whether it's the HAA program you want to learn more about, which is all about real estate related items. Okay, that's going to be everything from Airbnb options to walking into your house with equity to being able to buy that house and then buy another one and another one and another one. It's not just about that first house, guys. People get locked up in, I'm just trying to buy a home. That's great, but if you want to create financial freedom, you need to think about what that house actually does for you, leveraging that house, leveraging your credit, okay? First of all, how the rich get richer, okay? They use debt and taxes to get ahead. Right. While most people think debt and taxes, that's why people stay poor and the middle class is going away. The separation between the rich and the poor is getting even more and more because they're applying these principles that you should be paying attention to, okay? Read. I mean, if you don't like to read, John turned me on to audiobooks. Love audiobooks.
Absolutely.
I'm in the car on my way to mad as fuck going to the gym, and I'm reading and I'm learning some new principles. And I'm like, man, I want to tell people about this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's how education is born, guys. Look, nobody invented this shit. I mean, obviously somebody invented this shit, but yet a lot of people speak on it, right? Why? Because they learned it. They figured out it works, so now they want to share it. Me and Matt didn't create fucking Airbnb model. I wish, but we didn't create it, right? We didn't create real estate and flipping and wholesale. We didn't create it. Somebody else did. We just learned it and did it well. So that's why we can share those experiences with you. I'm not the first salesman in the motherfucking world, but I am one of the top ones today, and I can say that with fucking confidence. So I can share that with you. I can show you how to close more deals. I can show you how to get involved in real estate. Guys, look, the reason why I believe HG Lifestyle is for you is because it doesn't matter where you're starting from. If you're in a position today where you don't have any money, your credit is shit, you hate your fucking job, guess what? I can help you. How? Come join our sales team. Come put a shit ton of commission in your pockets, and then if you want to invest that with us in real estate, do it. Right? But no matter where you're starting from, we can help you. So make sure you do that. Now, I'm not sure how far we're into this. Tato, how far along are we? Okay, so guys, I don't want to keep you guys for too long. I know Matty Leverage has some things. Can you see that? I don't got my glasses on.
Yeah, I mean, we have our bios on there. I'm at Matty Leverage on IG. One of the things that we want to definitely focus on, because we do have this background, we've been to jail. Anyone that's out there that might be on rock bottom, listening out there right now, reach out to us specifically, especially if you've had any sort of addiction problems in your past. I feel like, and John's mentioned to me in the past, you know, he said when he needed to go get that drug, he figured out a way to get that drug.
Always.
Right? So think back to maybe but you need to be sober now, keep in mind. I don't want anyone calling me on one, okay? You need to be in the right set of mind, but if you're at that point where, I wouldn't say ex-cons, but I'd say people that are ready to make that change, that are sober, but maybe they're rock bottom, maybe their credit is trashed right now, you come into this facility, into our organization, we'll get your credit fixed, okay? And all of a sudden, credit opens a lot of doors that you're not even aware of, okay? We can get you 0% financing and get you in a position to own a home, to get a car, to get some credit cards, you know what I mean? We can leverage those credit cards and make some things happen that you might not even know that are possible right now. So we definitely have a soft spot for guys that have gone through it, but you have to be in a mindset shift, okay? I don't want to have any problems, okay? Bottom line, it's got to be someone that's wanting to make that change and ready to execute on what we're talking about. So, you know, that's who we speak to, not just those people, but people out there that want to make that change. I'm giving you guys an opportunity to get a hold of me. I think, you know, that goes for John too. If you're ready, we actually are hiring right now. So that is something that, you know, we found that most people in the U.S. right now are super, super lazy. So we're probably going to be doing all our business with Mexico honestly, do these calls until we find that right person.
Yeah. I mean, but we are looking for that right person, guys. We're not just hiring to hire, man. We're trying to create leaders, because eventually me and Matt want to focus on the things that are going to make a bigger impact. And that's going to be, you know, getting on stage, sharing our stories with more people. But that's hard to do when we got to be at the call floor, making sure sales are being done. But look, we're willing to do it. But if we can find the right leaders and put them in that position, then that's what we want to do. But, you know, like Matt said, we do have a soft spot for anybody who's been through that, because I've been there too, man. I know what it's like to feel like you're nobody. I know what it's like to feel like you don't have shit. I know what it's like to wake up in the morning and the first thing you're thinking about is getting high. I know what it's like to be on your way to pick up your pills, already thinking about how you're going to get the next pills. You haven't even picked those fuckers up, and you're already thinking about the next one because you know you're going to get sick, right? I know what that's like. But guys, one thing that I realized is I took that mentality that I always had of being resourceful, because guys, when I was an addict, I was one resourceful motherfucker. I was creative as shit. Why? Because I didn't want to feel sick. I wanted to get high. It wasn't even high, because it got to a point where it didn't even hit me. It was just to not get sick, right? So I got creative with it. I figured out how to sell this to buy more of this, or let me trade you this for that, or let me create these relationships so that I'd never have to be sick again. Those are good skill sets that I learned. I used them for wrong, but they were good skill sets that I learned. So
when applied.
exactly.
To the right mission statement.
Exactly.
You know?
And so that's what we're trying to do, man. If you're out there, in fact, I was just telling Matt today at the gym, I had a very nice lady send me a message on IG the other day that I had to share with Matt, man, because this lady gave me the goosebumps. You know, she said she heard the podcast, listened to the one about addiction and specifically, and she's been there herself, and she just talks about how much it inspired her. And I love it. That's why we do this. So, anyways, guys, make sure you follow us. Make sure you, what's it called? Subscribe to the YouTube, guys. We're going to try to do a lot of more stuff in there, more structured. I know right now it's a lot of freestyle, a lot of talking shit back and forth, but we are going to get better because we're committed to getting better, so we will. It's not if, man. We will. We will be one of the top-rated motherfucking podcasts. I promise you that, because we're committed to that shit. We're committed to giving you as much knowledge as possible that you can use. Not just give it to you so you have something to do and listen to while you're at the gym. No, something that you can take, apply, make some money, and then I want you to hit me up and say how you fucking changed your life. That's what I want to do. So at Real John Briseño for my IG, HG Lifestyle Show on iTunes, HG Lifestyle Show on YouTube, and yeah.
Yeah, at Matty Leverage. Stick around, guys.
We out, baby. HG Lifestyle. It's a mindset. Make sure you adopt it.